Split rings. I've been looking forward to this video for a long time. I can't even count the number of times I've heard people say, you should never use split rings. And then I hear others say, you should always use split rings. So what's the deal? Should we use them or not? Today we're going to take a hard look at this debate and then go underwater to see what's going on. Split rings are included on nearly every crankbait and some other baits too. They allow for better lure action since the bait can rotate freely around the split ring in either direction. Crankbait snaps and loop knots are also options to improve lure action. Watch for our upcoming underwater video comparing loop knots, split rings, snaps, direct tying, and even combinations of these with the same crankbaits to see how they compare. So what's so great about split rings? Well, a split ring can be a quick way to change between lures, especially if you use a pair of split ring pliers to open the rings and slide a lure on and off. Split rings or snaps are really important when trolling because a loop knot or even a snug knot can be worn down as the lure wobbles back and forth thousands of times and the line tie rubs on your line. Split rings are strong, and a snug knot like a trilene knot or a modified uni is much stronger than a loop knot. If you haven't seen our strongest knot test and the disappointing loop knot results, check out the video description for a link to that video. Now there are several drawbacks of split rings too, and you'll have to decide for yourself whether the pros outweigh the cons. First of all, the edges of the split ring wire can be sharp and may cut into your knot. Tying your knot on the doubled part of the split ring is good, but sometimes you'll find that your knot shifted down between the sharp wire ends at some point. Oval split rings can be better at keeping your line from falling down into the gap between the wire ends. Split rings are frustrating on topwater baits because they can pull the line down closer to the treble hooks and make it more likely that your line will get wrapped in your hook and ruin that cast, especially if you pause your retrieve with something like a popper. Opponents of split rings say that the split ring is too obvious to a fish and it will cause a lot of fish to not strike your bait. We'd have to ask a fish to really settle this debate, but I wonder how much effect the split ring really has compared to the split rings underneath the bait that are holding big metal treble hooks and the plastic or metal lip sticking out of the front of the bait. In the vast majority of baits, I think the extra split ring is probably pretty minor. But on that note, could the shiny split ring contribute extra flash and actually be an advantage? Again, we'd have to ask the fish, and so far I haven't been able to translate their wisdom. Does a split ring affect the action of a bait compared to a loop knot? Now that you know the pros and cons of using split rings, you can take a look at this underwater footage and decide whether you should continue using split rings versus loop knots. What do you think? Thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch you next time.